Yo, what's going on, everybody? Hope all is well. So, y'all, let me just say this. Technology is great until it's not great, until it starts malfunctioning. And we live in a world where everybody is moving toward AI, everybody is moving toward automation. But when I think about the big picture, like I said, AI is great. Copilot is great until it's not great. Anyways, though, y'all, let me say this to y'all just so y'all can understand. You must close the doors. Close the doors. Close the doors. Y'all laugh about that, and y'all see my mic just went crazy on me. And like I just said a minute ago, y'all, technology is fun and dandy until it's not. And so let me try to get this microphone the right way. But anyways, y'all, so close the doors. And the reason why I said that quote because Marvin Sapp, a bishop, once used those same words, close the doors. And in this scenario, it was different from mine because I'm not holding y'all hostage. Number two, I'm not asking y'all for any money at all. And number three, there's nothing for you to have to give me in order for you to listen to this episode. But I will say, close the doors. And y'all, I say that for a scenario that didn't turn out to be so great for Bishop Marvin Sapp because it ended up being one of those things where it was not a good scenario for him. No, I didn't follow the case, so I don't know what happened. I don't know what the next step is it has come to, or I don't even know, was there any court proceedings behind it? But I do know when that first happened that they were saying that's kidnapping and some other charges as well, because he was asking them to pay money or to give him money because it's something that the church was trying to do, right? And like, so I don't know the whole story, y'all, because I don't follow not the news media like that, but I know I heard a little bit about it. But the reason why it spoke volumes to me is that we must close the doors on anything in our life that's not bringing us anything positive, anything that's good for us, anything that's causing us to have heartache and pain. We must close the doors. And y'all, he asked over, he asked a lot, he asked for 1,000 people to give him 20 people to give him $1,000, I think is what it was, to reach a 40,000 goal or something to that effect, right? It might have been more like 1,000 people to give $20 so he can reach his $40,000 goal. And that turned out to be not the greatest scenario. Number one, on how to ask people for money, and then number two, on how to rob people for money. Y'all, back to what I was saying, we must close the doors on anything in our life that's not good for us. We must close the doors on anything that's causing us to be negative, live negative, and have negative actions. And that includes negative decisions as well that we make because life is so short. And with life being so short, we've got to find ways to enjoy life. But if we don't close the doors on things that's not great for us, we're going to continue to repeat the same patterns in life and get the same outcome every single time. So we have to learn to close the doors on things that aren't meant from us. I know someone just recently told me a minute ago that things are not for you. The door does eventually close on those things and a new door does open. The struggle is with that is sometimes the door stays open too long and we end up overcommitting to something that's not good for us. And it's too late to close the door because we're already inside the door and now we can't close the door. Now, that don't mean you can't never go back on something that you've done, but in some cases, you can't go back. It is what it is. You just got to learn to live with whatever decision you made and get over it. But y'all, we have to close the doors on things when it comes to negative thinking and self-sabotage. I've closed the doors on a lot of things over the past couple of years. And y'all, I'll tell y'all one thing right now. I'm not perfect just because I'm behind this mic talking to y'all every week. about podcasting, talking to y'all about how to live and be positive does not mean that I don't struggle with some of those same things y'all struggle with. However, I have closed the door on a lot of those things so they don't impact me anymore because now I've learned to say, hey, that's not for me. I'm closing the door. Negative thinking and self sabotage are two of those things that I've shut the door on. Now, I don't think any one of us could ever 100% quit thinking negative because you're always going to get some thoughts that come to your mind that's uncontrollable. But what matters is how long do you ruminate on that negative thought? How long do you allow your self sabotage to stay around before you realize you done sabotaged yourself and everything around you for the last 30 days? Right. And so that's what we have to learn to get better at closing the doors on things that's not meant for us, good for us, or things that's just not going to lead us to a better door. Right. So we must close the doors. But let me ask y'all a question. How many of y'all struggle with bad habits, limited thinking, a negative thought pattern, a negative lifestyle, or just live life the way it shouldn't be lived? And when I say the way it shouldn't be lived, I feel like that a lot of y'all know that the lifestyle you live in is not a good lifestyle to live. We're adults. No one has to tell you, hey, that lifestyle is not going to get you anywhere in this world. No one has to tell us that. We know these things. But ironically enough, we just don't close the doors on things that aren't good for us. We continue to live that same lifestyle over and over and over again. My biggest thing when I used to be a self sabotager, when I used to think negative about a lot of things in life, I could never let go of it. I would just always hold on to that negative feeling or that negative thought or just that moment of self sabotage. I couldn't let it go. It got to a point to where it felt so good for me to self sabotage myself. It felt so good for me to put myself down to where it became an everyday habit. If I didn't put myself down 20 times in a day, life wasn't regular for me. Something was wrong, right? And so, like I said earlier, how many of y'all struggle with bad habits, negative thinking, or just a like flawed thought pattern? And there's probably more than half of y'all that's listening right now. And so, that being said, those who think negative and live negative, it's time for you to close the doors with that type of mindset. Close the doors. It's not for you. Close the doors. It's not going to change your scenario. Close the doors. It's not going to make your life better. We got to learn to start closing the doors on things that is not going to benefit us. And I know a lot of times we may think or feel like things is going to benefit us, and it's not going to. And again, that's one of those things I just said a minute ago. A lot of us as adults know what's good for us and what's not good for us. But where we go wrong is that we continue to play that card. And so we've got to learn to close the door and say, no, I'm not going to play that card anymore. I'm going to move forward and start making better decisions. You change your thinking, you change your life. You close the door on bad habits, you change your life. You close the door on negative thinking, your life will change. You close the door on some of your bad habits, you will see the life will be better for you and can be better. But it's not going to happen unless you take action to do that. There's nothing that I can do action wise for you. I can give you the water, but I can't make you drink it. I can cut the cake, but I can't make you eat it. And I'm not going to say I can cut the cheese because that wouldn't be fair. But anyway, so y'all, yeah, there's just certain things that you have to close the door on. And if you someone that has been in a long-term bad relationship, it's time to close the door. If you've been struggling with a drug or alcohol habit or addiction, close the door. If you've been holding on to negative grudges, anger because something happened to you as a child and you feel like it's your parents' fault, close the doors. You don't need that no more. It's not benefiting you. It hasn't benefited you for the last 20 years. I'll be the first to say it. That look doesn't look good on you. Not anymore. Close the doors. Hey, y'all. I'm Coach James. Thank y'all for listening to today's episode. Y'all, I'm not hard to find. I'm on IG all day, every day. It's Fast Forward the Mindset Podcast. Check out my website. It's www.rewirethewayouthink.com. If you're not at that follow button, make sure you do something. Do so. When you hit the follow button, you'll never miss a moment to rewire the way you think. If you have thoughts of suicide, say thoughts of hurting yourself or someone else, please don't hesitate to call the Suicide Prevention Hotline at 988. Hey, y'all, I'm Coach James. Let me help rewire the way you think. And now, as I always say, if it's not making you money, it's costing you way too much. All right, y'all. Peace. Thank y'all for listening to today's episode. And remember, don't rewind your life, fast forward it. Until next time, keep moving forward. Hey, y'all, I'm Coach James. Let me help rewire the way you think. All right, y'all. Peace.